Hi everyone, my name is Ben Luscombe. I'm the sales manager here at Melbourne City Land Rover. Today we're going to be beginning our series of virtual handovers. Today we're going to be running through a Range Rover Sport, and this is designed so you can be sitting there with the video playing on your phone or tablet in front of you as we go through the entire car and do a handover as we would on delivery. The car we're going to use today is an SD V6 SE. It's an MY20 model. It's got the brand new Duo Touch Pro system. If there's any features we go through on the car that aren't on your car, or you've got extra features on your car that we don't go through, please feel free to contact myself or the team at Melbourne City. But let's take a bit of a look and let's start running through the car for you. Cool, so let's get started. First of all, keyless entry in the car. To activate the keyless entry, literally hand inside the handle, and that's where the sensor is just coming through in here. To lock the car, all you do, put your finger on the button, and the mirrors will fold in. There's a short 3 or 4 second period where you can put your hands in to check if the car's locked. Otherwise, on approach, hand in, open it up, we're all good to go. Let's go to the back of the car. To release the fuel filler on a Range Rover Sport, once the car's unlocked, just press this part just next to the taillight and that'll pop open. Please also remember diesel for the diesel cars, petrol for the petrol cars. If on the unfortunate event that you do fill a diesel car up with petrol or vice versa, just don't start the car. Please call Land Rover Roadside Assistance straight away and we can get the vehicle brought in. When that's locked, you won't be able to open it as well, okay? So moving to the back of the car, Range Rover Sports all have a power tailgate, and in between the E and the R, you'll have a little button in there. One single press, that'll pop open. Interesting to note, your reversing camera sits on the side here. With this, to close it, you can just push the button from here, and there's a button on the inside of the car. If this is too high, once it's up, you can actually adjust it to where you want it to go, and all you do is hold down the button for 13 seconds, and it'll memorize that height setting. Another really good safety feature, there's a strip coming along the side of the car here, which is basically one big button on both sides. When this tailgate's coming down, all you do is literally put your hand in, and you'll press that button and it'll pop back up. So it's a really good emergency safety feature. Coming into the back of the car, you've also got 2 extra options. All Range Rover Sports that have air suspension, which would be the majority of the range, have this little button here, which is really handy, especially if you've got a tow bar on the car. You can actually raise and lower the car, literally just by a finger press coming through here. The car doesn't have to be on, it can actually do it while it's turned off. You have a 12-volt power supply in the back, you have these handy little hooks for shopping bags and these things. Coming into the back of the car, this will lift up from here, and this is where you'll see the Range Rover Sports full-size spare wheel. Tow anchor point, your locking wheel nut especially, will just be sitting here. Please make sure you always know where that is, your jack and your tyre assistance kit, which helps lift it up. To hold this up, just pull that little hook from there. Another really cool little feature that not many people will know is this whole section here comes out, and this side's actually waterproof. So if you're down the beach, or you've just got some wet, smelly dog maybe, then click straight onto there. I'll quickly show you through how to use the power gesture tailgate as well. So moving on to the inside of the car now. Coming onto the door card, your 2 mirror controls are from here. So all you literally do is just press what side you want to adjust. Once you use that, you just use a little toggle here to adjust the movement. For the vehicle's fitted with a Drive Pack and a Drive Pro Pack, your blind spot monitor will be in here. You have 3 settings on the blind spot monitor. Say this is your Range Rover Sport, car will approach, it shows a little light in the top right, a little image of a car will pop up when the car's in the blind spot monitor, and when the car's going through, it'll follow the whole way through. Cars with blind spot assist, which we can show you how to adjust as well, will actually tuck you in. From here, you have this handy little button coming down to power fold both mirrors onto the car. And you can just press that coming through. When the car's locked, the mirrors will lock. For here, you've actually got the child lock. So by pressing that, all Range Rover Sports run an electric child lock, and by deactivating it from there. This button down here, this is for easy access height. As you pull up, if you want to lower the car down for easy access for elderly people or for children, or you just want to get out of the car, literally just press that button there, and the car will automatically go down to its lower access height. Windows and everything are through here, okay, pretty nice and easy, up and down, all full obviously electric. Coming down here, this is the lock and unlock for the car, which is an added security device. Vehicles with memory seats will have their memory seat settings here, okay? And for memory seats, it's easy. Once you've got your position set, just press M and then 1, which will show on another vehicle, and there's a nice easy setup from there. Let's take a look inside the rest of the car. So let's move into the interior of the car. Starting off with the steering wheel. These two sides are going to be fully capacitive. Horn in the middle, nice and easy. The cruise control buttons are through here. Once you're at the speed you want to be driving at, just press set and then it'll maintain the speed. To cancel, button down here on the bottom right or foot on the brake. And then to resume the speed that you've got it set up, just press resume. To adjust the speed you want to do, plus and minus. For cars with adaptive cruise, to close or lengthen the gap, closing the gap will be the right side, lengthening the gap will be the left hand side. Moving down to here, this is for your lane departure warning. So this will be the warning to let you know that you're veering between lanes, and you can turn that on and off just by a button here, and you know it's active through the little controls just coming around over here. You also have an adaptive speed limiter, which a lot of people ask questions about. The idea for a speed limiter is if you're going through, say, a roadwork zone or a school zone, you can drop the car to 40 k's an hour and then press the speed limiter button. Once you're at that, the car won't go over that speed. It won't hold it there, it's not a cruise control, it just limits the car to that physical speed. To deactivate it, just press it again, or in an emergency, you can actually completely floor the throttle, and there's a little switch underneath, and it'll deactivate the speed limiter. Coming over to the audio side, this is actually really cool. What you can do now, this is actually a touchscreen, so you can literally rotate it around, and that'll lower the audio or bring it back up. You can still, if you want, press the buttons if you want to go a bit old school, otherwise it's all just controlled through there, nice and easy on your thumb as you're driving. To switch in between radio stations, CD tracks, coming through here. For the phone, go straight to the phone menu from this button, and this is for your voice control. For the voice control, nice and easy. Phone, call contact, phone call Ben, phone call Land Rover. This button here is actually a favorites button. So by pressing this, you can come across to this center screen through here, and on a short press, you can choose exactly what you want that button to do. By doing the short press, what most people would like to do would be, say, a mute function. And on a long press, what a lot of people like to do is a voicemail, but you can customize this to whatever you want. Moving up to the top dashboard through here, so this runs an interactive driver display, and you'll see this on Range Rover, Range Rover Velar, and the higher spec Evoques. Having a bit of a look through here, pretty easy. Speed on the left-hand side, revs on the right. The active speed limiter zone, so basically letting us know what speed zone we're in is down here. It's letting us know that we don't have our seatbelts on, the time of the morning, the park brakes on, and the temperature. Moving down to here, I'm not sure if the camera can get that in, this will be the odometer, and then through this is actually where you can adjust it by pressing the button on the end of the left-hand indicator stalk just here. By pressing this, we can cycle it through distance to empty, your speed efficiency rating, everything coming through here, the date, how many Ks the car's done as well. Okay, so really nice feature. Once you get into your car, work out exactly where you want it. Moving back into the dashboard, this is really cool. This is one of the good features. We can actually completely customize this, and we'll take a bit of a deeper look into it now. By coming through here, okay, by pressing the menu button on here, we can adjust our display. By going into the display with your info panel, in fact, what we'll do the layout first. Most people tend to like the 2 speeds with the nav in the middle, but you can adjust this through your layout. So you can go 1 dial, you can jump into 2 dials. You can actually have the whole screen as a map as well. You can have it all as media, you can have it all as driver assistance. So basically the idea is here that you can completely customize your Range Rover Sport to how you want it to look. By coming across here into your vehicle settings, this is where we can do your security features and exterior lighting. Security features where you choose for your audible lock warning, your 2-stage unlocking, your drive-away locking as well. So you've got plenty of options there. Again, we always suggest doing what you think is the best fit. By coming across also to your vehicle info, it shows your oil level, your last alarm, your vehicle VIN, just in case you ever need to know it. Your media, nice and easy, we'll spend a bit more time across there. This is where it does get a bit interesting though, your driver assistance settings. So all Range Rover Sports have collision avoidance. We have forward alert, sensitivity, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitors. So you can choose what you want to have on and what you want to have off, which is pretty good. Allows you to customize the car to how you want it to be. For this, what we would suggest, and obviously it's completely up to you, but we kind of always like to give a little bit of feedback so you kind of know what most people like. I would suggest probably going 2 dial, gives you the best layout. And then by going to 2 dial, you can go into information panel, which is just through here. And then this will take you through your driver assistance, your map. Most people tend to have the map or the driver assistance in the center screen. And to get back out of here, just press up again, and up again. And this way now you'll have a map going fully active. Let's take a bit of time to go over to the center screen then. Let's move to the center part of the car. Coming up top here just quickly, your full hazard lights and everything coming through here. Obviously for your vents, literally just controlling it through there. Now, Duo Touch Pro. So this is Land Rover's revolutionary touchscreen system, and it is a double touchscreen system. And I'm going to spend a bit of time walking you through it, but my biggest bit of advice is always have a bit of a play with it and see how you find to use it. It can look a bit daunting, but I'm just going to give you a few tricks that we've learned using it along the way, and definitely things that I find useful. Things that I find useful, you might find useful as well. But I'd always say the good thing about this car is that my Range Rover Sport and your Range Rover Sport can be quite differently set up, but they're both do the same functions. The good thing about Duo Touch Pro is there's a lot of depth to it, but if you're not really right into the IT side of it, you can actually also just get by with using it as it is. The best way to describe it is top screen is basically just like an iPad. The center screen is going to be more your vehicle controls, but the top screen is the one that you're going to use the most. This is your home screen setup, and this is what the car will start up on most times. So in here we have our nav, we have our media, and we have our phone connection. We also have our shortcuts down the bottom here. Our shortcuts at the bottom here will be Go straight to the cameras, to the front sensors, to the off-road modes. Then we have nav, phone, media, Bluetooth, settings, and home settings. Quick little note of caution, with this top screen, please never adjust it with your hand. It's all adjusted electronically, which we'll spend a bit of time going through. But let's start walking through it. First is navigation, so we just press this button here. Now, you'll see this little screen will come up saying no internet connection. The Range Rover Sport and any car with Duo Touch Pro can be connected to the internet. And by doing this, you literally need a data-only SIM card. For Australian market, we suggest mainly Telstra and Vodafone tend to be the best. Probably Telstra is what we suggest. And it's on a micro SIM, data only. From there, you just connect it through here. And if you go underneath the center console, we'll take through and we'll show you how to fit it as well, okay? By coming through here, you don't have to use it online though, okay? But by using it online, the car will not only become basically a Wi-Fi hotspot for your phone, your internet and emails, you can use the center screen as a full computer, but it also means your navigation goes completely live, which is a really good feature. Having said that, we'll also walk you through the Apple CarPlay section of the vehicle as well, because there's 2 different ways you can use the car. But to proceed just using it offline, we'll just press OK. By coming to here, by pressing this screen once, we'll get our full map coming up. And we can adjust it, we can zoom it in, we can change it from north facing, 3D, you can pinch and squeeze it as it's coming out as well, okay? It's really good, shows all the maps and everything. By pressing this button here, we can also change our view options in our compass. We can go 2D, 3D, however you'd like it. Very handy button on this system, bottom right is always the back button, okay? To enter in a destination, just press back. And we just want to go to our menu button through here. It'll also show our fuel stations, and once you start driving the car more, it'll actually start memorizing your commute, your house, your work, family's house, vice versa. By pressing the menu button here, literally search just like a search bar. We'll just press OK because we don't have our internet connected. And you'll notice very nice, very quick. And you see at the top bar, it's always searching. So what we can do, we can just hit the search button from here. And it gives us our 2 different destinations. To enter in a destination, let's just go to Little Ingle Street and press this button here. What we can do also, we can go to route options, and this is where you can choose basically if you want route preferences, traffic, motorways, toll roads, ferries, unpaved roads, vice versa as well. Okay, we'll just go back and we'll just go back and we'll just press start. The good thing is now, not only does the navigation come up on this screen, the navigation will also come up into my center screen here. And if I have a heads-up display, the navigation will also come into the windscreen. Moving down, that's how it's all set up. It gives us our time, destination, everything. But to cancel that, you can either press back and just go through here, or by going back to the nav, just press the menu button, stop guidance. If you don't want the nav to talk to you, there's also the mute button there. You can also have places in your destination, so you can have places saved as you go through. That's a pretty quick whip through the nav, but obviously it just comes down to how much you want to use it. Coming through for the media, so just pressing the media here, you've got it coming through here. I'm going to show you a few tricks of this. You can switch through your radio stations through this. You can also swap it as you go through. Okay? By pressing source in the top right, you've got your radio. Media is going to say if you've got your iPod and everything connected. You can either connect through the USBs or through Bluetooth through your phone. You just cycle through there. Band is where you choose, say, FM, AM digital radio features. And then you've got your favorites, which will be your favorite radio stations, which you can go through and tick. One thing I would suggest is we're going to show you a little bit of a way of using this. For the media, going down to the bottom screen, you've got these 2 buttons down here. By pressing this, it actually brings your audio down to the bottom screen. And then by coming through here, you can also press favorites, and it gives you your full list coming up. And you can literally just swipe through. I would suggest using this way. You can also mute the radio coming straight from there. You can also change your source, and it brings everything up through there. By using this bottom screen, you can actually also swipe this across, and you can have now your phone on there. And this is some of the really good side of how to adjust this system. So you can have your nav up in the top screen, phone and radio down here. So it's nice and easy to control. If you want to go back to having your vehicle set up, just press the button up there. We'll jump back up, so that's your media section. For your phone, nice and easy to connect your phone, which we'll walk through on connecting all the Bluetooth in a little bit, but that's nice and easily controlled through there. Moving to our vehicle settings, just jump into our 2 little cogs. The first part of it, very important, please don't adjust the screen angle with your hand, literally just adjust your screen angle here. Okay. You can also adjust this display theme. This is in the black theme. You can go to the full white background. Again, complete personal preference. What you might find a bit easier. You most people typically tend to go the black. You can also adjust your brightness. Coming through here, your home settings. This is where you can actually even change the wallpaper in the background, which is pretty cool. So you can go to like a bit of a Carpathian forest. You can also adjust everything coming through. By jumping back into our settings, this is something I definitely want to show all of our clients, is the connectivity side. All your phone and everything's all through here. We heavily suggest any car with Duo Touch Pro connecting it to your Wi-Fi at home or work. And the reason for this is Land Rover brought in software over-the-air updates, where we can do small software updates to adjust the system through here or any of the other car setups, basically over the air. So it saves you having to come into the dealership. For this, just jump into connectivity. Okay, and this is where you can either per Bluetooth, you can connect your internet. This is where you connect the internet to the vehicle SIM card. You can actually also make the car connected device to the vehicle's internet connection. We'll just go here. You can also connect, this is where you connect to the Wi-Fi, similar to just connecting a Wi-Fi phone coming through there. We heavily suggest doing it because this way your car will be internet connected, but not only, all of the features through here will stay completely up to date. You can also check your car for a software update just on the button just down here. Moving on to the bottom screen. So the bottom screen is going to be a little bit different. This is where you can basically adjust a lot of the car, you can adjust from here, but also how you use the bottom screen is really individual. It's a pretty clever setup. You'll notice in the Range Rover Sport, 3 buttons on these 2 screens. So it's very nice and simple. The first one across into the bottom left, we have settings, and this is where you can choose when you start the car to what you want to come up through here. So you can choose whether you want the climate to come up, the driver modes, the phone, the media. Personally, I like to have the media coming set up, so now when I start the car, the media will be the first thing that pops up from here. You can also jump straight into your climate control, and this is where you can have your little choices through here. So with you can have your auto rear climate control popping up through there, so that'll rear demist the back tailgate. Auto blind is actually for the sunroof, so you can choose when you start the car. If I had the sunroof open last time, it'll close it for me automatically when it starts and reopen it back when I get the vehicle going. And the auto airflow is basically how do you want the climate control to blow the air through the car. So you can choose soft and quiet, balanced for comfort, and powerful and fast, depending on your climate and obviously where you are. Coming through though, let's jump in. So the climate control, pretty nice and easy. 2 buttons across here. As the driver, I can adjust my climate as I'm coming through here. Okay, it's dual zone climate control, so front and rear. If I don't want to sync it, say my passengers have a different setting, just press sync, and then they can have their own different climate coming through. If I want to go from having the automatic climate control, i.e. getting the car to this temperature and keeping it there, I can then go to our old school manual mode and say I want it on my face or I want it on my feet, or vice versa. To go back to auto, simply just press auto. Coming down to these buttons, the air conditioning button's just here on the bottom, on the left, top left. The rear demister is on the top right. The recirculation is the bottom right, and your fan setup, you literally just press from here. And when I press the fan button, you'll notice it turns this left dial into purely the fan setup. So what you can tell is these 2 controls here can completely change as you're driving. By pressing that back again, we just go back to automatic. For our seat controls, i.e. the heated seats, just press it through from here. To turn them on, just press the seat button and literally on from there. And then we can adjust how intense we want the heated seats from here. Okay? Little bit of a factor. If I've got my climate control going and I just want to be driving along and I don't want to have to press the button, if I press this button in from here, the little dial, it now becomes my seat controls. Once I've got my seat to where I want it to be, I'll just press it again and it goes back to climate control. And if I'm ever worried, I've still got the little setup showing me how many red dots I've got for how hot I've got the heated seats on. Moving out of the climate control phase into now our vehicle setup. This is going to be a little bit more intense. So the Land Rover system has terrain response. The SDV6 engines and above will have terrain response too, with automatic terrain response, which we'll go through in other videos. But to give you a real quick run through, you've got 5 different modes in the Range Rover Sport. Eco mode, which is basically fuel efficient driving. It'll adjust the climate control settings, it'll adjust your throttle response, obviously to be a more eco-friendly and also less fuel consumption. The one that the car spent nearly 99% of its life in is comfort mode. Okay, so medium acceleration, still balanced for a fair bit of economy, but also the suspension and the steering setup and the throttle response will be more set towards a more chilled out, comfortable drive. Okay. The best thing about the Range Rover Sport is now obviously its off-road capability. We'll run through the air suspension a bit, but then we have 3 additional driver modes. Coming over to the right, we have grass, gravel, snow. And not only does it let us know what's happening in here, but it also lets us know in the top screen coming through here. And we do suggest if you are taking it off-road, obviously you always want your off-road setting through here. By jumping into this is basically, we're letting the car know that, hey, we're in low grip, high slip situations, i.e. obviously taking up the snow, these kind of things. You'll see in the top screen system here, it'll also say grass, gravel, snow's been selected. Do we want to activate low traction launch? For this, we will say yes. And what low traction launch is, if you read through, it's designed if you're on a slippery hill or a low grip takeoff where you're worried if you put the foot down the car will slip. Gradually apply the accelerator pedal until the vehicle moves away from rest. It's now available below 30 k's an hour. So the idea is if you're on a bit of an angle, taking off and you're worried the back's gonna slip, it'll go to like a super high grip takeoff mode, okay? And we'll just deactivate that from the button here. Moving back down to here, we have grass, gravel, snow, we have mud and ruts. Mud and ruts is very similar to grass, gravel, snow, but obviously driving in muddy, rutted roads. The recommendation is raising the suspension to the off-road height, which we can do now. So with the off-road height, the car has to be stationary. So we have 3 different heights here. We have normal, and we're gonna bring it up to off-road. A little light will shine up on here, okay? And with these terrain response modes, you can also, a la all around Land Rovers the last 10 years, press this little dial in, and you can use this to adjust the off-road mode as you're going through. By going to the off-road height now, the car has to be stationary with the engine off and the doors have to be shut. Now we're allowing ourselves much more clearance. Coming through to the last mode here, we have sand mode. Oh, I'll press it across, perfect. So sand mode's now very different to the other 2 modes. Sand mode's now about maintaining momentum driving through soft sand. What you'll notice is the acceleration's a lot more aggressive. The car will stay in gear longer because it wants to maintain momentum. For a bit more, this is a real quick run through on the off-road modes, but we'll have a separate video coming up shortly where we'll spend a lot of time going through all of this and showing you how to get the best out of your off-road capability. But the real quick and easy version is basically let the car know what condition you're driving into, select the mode, get a bit of extra air clearance, and obviously be careful as you're driving through. We strongly suggest also taking advantage of the Land Rover Experience Days, which we offer all of our clients. Definitely make sure you get along there. The team there is really good, really experienced, and they'll walk you through everything. So, coming over to while we're in the vehicle setup, pop it back to normal height. One of the frequently asked questions is, how do I turn off the stop start? That's where the button is here, okay? Stop start by default, as an Australian design regulation, is always on by default, so you have to turn it off every time you start the car. And no, we can't permanently disable it. It does save a fair bit of fuel. It's roughly around 8 to 10% fuel saving on most city drives. By pressing this button here, okay, we'll go through here as well. This gives us our off-road information in the top screen. Real quick little run through. The off-road info is basically telling us what's happening with the car, what's happening with the wheels. You'll notice this lets us know what's happening, what angle our front wheels are on, what gear we're on up the top, and this little part through here, just get the camera, it's coming right close. This shows our reticulation, i.e. how much room we have to go up and down with our wheels. As we're in a normal height, you'll see we've got a fair bit of room coming up and down. If I go to an off-road height though, you'll see that now adjusts as the car's going. So you see now we've actually got even greater clearance. Pretty cool. We also have a slope angle, so it lets us know what kind of angle we're on as well. We're sitting at the park in front of the driveway, so we are on a 5-degree angle. Just in case you ever need it, compass, altitude, latitude, north facing. You've also got the longitude and latitude points coming through. And then this one's really cool, and this is basically a bit of a run through on what eco program mode we're sitting in. If you're inexperienced with off-roading, I'd say definitely have a bit of a play around in here as well. It's got some really cool information. And like I say, any other questions you've got, look, always feel free to ask us. But we will jump out of this, and it's really cool. 1 button, 2 buttons back into comfort. We've gone from driving to the Sahara Desert to driving through the streets of Port Melbourne. Coming through from here, vehicle settings, everything through here. The one little tricks within Control Joy, I'd always suggest using this double button. What I would suggest is, with your favorites, go through the list up here in your media, and literally just pick what stations you want to have as your favorites, okay? And the reason why I'd say that is, or even find, just jump into here. See these little stars? So Joy 96.5, tick the ones that you actually like. The reason why I say that is it's a lot easier to, but then come down to the bottom screen, press your favorites. It's a lot easier when you've got everything sitting in here to switch across. It's much easier for your phone. For Apple CarPlay, literally just white cord plugging in. So you go through from there. Okay, so going into Apple CarPlay, which is a question asked heaps by clients on delivery. So best advice, white phone cord, plug in our iPhone. let's go from here. It's going to bring up the question, do I want to launch with Apple CarPlay or none? None would be if I just want to have my phone charged. To have Apple CarPlay, do need to enable Siri, so we're just going to press CarPlay coming through here. We'll do its first little long thing. It'll also bring up the question on your phone, do I want it to allow CarPlay with Range Rover Sport while the car is locked? Yeah, that's fine, allow. So, this is actually pretty cool, just because I know there's going to be the barrage of questions. Any car with Duo Touch Pro, and even earlier discoveries as well, we can actually upload Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to your car. There's a software, it's just a software update. Just check with your local service department for your VIN just to make sure your car is eligible, because there are some cars that aren't, some cars that are. All 2020, 19, 20, 18 sports, Velars, Evoques with Duo Touch Pro, you'll be able to have it on the system now. So, what does Apple CarPlay do? Basically, it gives us two different systems to use now. I can go back to the Land Rover just by pressing the Land Rover function through there. I'll go back to my normal home screen. And this little, now, one of the icons down below now gets replaced with the CarPlay system. I can press it through here. My phone, my music, my messages, everything's all set up here. Podcasts, Audible, Google Maps, Spotify, WhatsApp, all ready to go through here. Messages will come through. I can now say, hey Siri, take me to 351 Ingle Street, Port Melbourne. Really cool little setup. Some people like to use the maps in here. Some people like to, for example, come across, the podcast section coming through is a little bit easier. One of the big ones, I won't lie, is Google Maps. A lot of people love using it, coming through here. Obviously then traffic updates and everything coming through. So you don't necessarily have to have the SIM card to get a bit of functionality coming through your vehicle. It's just another really good way to use your car, and it offers a fair bit of flexibility on the vehicles, whether you want to use this or a different system coming through. Spotify, podcasts are always pretty cruisy. Yeah, and the good thing is, by going back to my Sport, I just press one button there, and I'm back to the Range Rover. No worries, if you've ever got any questions with the Duo Touch Pro, look, just always feel free to ask questions. This is a bit of a real quick run through on what we do on a handover without boring you too much. We'll spend a little bit of time going through some stuff on the outside of the car, and all cool. But like I say, any other questions, look, always feel free to ask. Myself or the team at Melbourne City Land Rover, we're always happy to delve in a little bit deeper into the cars. To turn off the car and on, foot on the brake, straight off from there. For the Range Rover Sport sunroof, car's fitted. The one button closest to the driver will be the cover. The button closest to the passenger, one press for tilt, second press to completely open, and your wind deflector will pop up from here. The two buttons along the side, this is for your in-control remote, so this is your optimised roadside assistance, and this is your optimised SOS. Please note this does call 000, so please only call it in the event of an emergency. The cool thing with the optimised SOS is if the vehicle wants fitted with the in-control remote app, which we'll walk you through in a tick, this will if the car has an accident and airbags deployed and you do not press this button, it'll automatically contact emergency services and give the location of the car. While we're on that, let's take a quick look at in-control remote. So for all these vehicles, they can be set up with in-control remote, which we strongly suggest and we can do for you in handover. This is just a quick run through. You'll download this app onto your phone, gives you the location of your car, your fuel rating, any charge you've got. If you're running an electric vehicle, it shows the temperature. Swiping across the left, you can actually start the car remotely. So on a cold day, you can set it up to be 22 degrees. The engine will start, the car obviously locked and the gearbox locked, and that'll go through by pressing this button from here. It gives you your journeys, which is like a digital, logbook, and also coming through to give you all your optimised roadside assistance, vehicle health report, everything through there. You can also have multiple Land Rovers set up for the system as well, and we strongly recommend basically downloading this app. It's a really cool one, and it's actually just through the Land Rover remote as well. So last but not least, we'll do the bonnet release. Just down here on the passenger side, one press to tilt. To open the bonnet, just next to the R, little switch from there, and I'll pop open from there. A few little things to notice, obviously a big beautiful Range Rover engine. Your battery, if you ever do get a flat battery, the battery for the vehicle is actually tucked away in the back. So to jump start it, the positives here, and the negative earthing points just there. Windscreen washer fluid just sits in there. Bear in mind, because the cars do have matrix LEDs, they do have front windscreen washers. The other one with all of our diesel variants will have AdBlue. Your AdBlue fill-up nozzle is just here, okay? Remember, for Range Rover Sports service intervals once a year, the diesels will need an AdBlue top-up about every 6,000 to 10,000 Ks, depending on your driving situation. If you ever do need to top it up, it's all just running through there. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you took a little bit of information out of that, and if you haven't picked up your car, look forward to seeing you on delivery. If you have picked up your car and you just wanted a bit of a run through, all cool. If you ever got any questions, myself and a team of experts at Melbourne City Land Rover are always here to help. But main thing is enjoy your car, and any questions let us know. But cheers, thanks for watching.